there, and welcome back to another edition of the Hot Lap Classic Remastered. This time, take a look at the 1998 Nissan 200SX. Another 200SX to take on our course. This, unlike the other S14s in this game, is not just a copy and paste with a different name. The 200SX in the PAL regions of the game is actually based off the proper European market 200SX, and you can tell because it's ugly. The rear bumper especially, and then it sort of has a split in the front grille. That's sort of the two main ways to tell apart the 98 200SX to a standard Silvia K's Aero. Yeah, so that's an interesting thing. GT2 Plus actually segregates the cars, so you get options for the 200SX and the standard Silvia K, as well as obviously in the European region. This would be classed as the standard 200SX, and then the Silvia K's Aero SE, the other 98, would be called the 200SX K's Aero. And also you can't get this car in the American version of the game either, because they're all 240SXs. 200SX is only available in the PAL region. So there you go. Other than that, it's pretty standard S14. I'm not a big fan of the S14, and as mentioned, I think these European market ones are not very attractive. So, yeah, not a lot of love for this. Although I will say, the last S14 we've got to run, the Aero SE, that one does look quite cool because it's got the race mod, but this one does not have the race mod because it's not as good. Anyways, front-engined, rear-wheel drive, 386 horsepower, 1,125 kilos. Yeah, let's go ahead and see how the 200SX gets on with our course. This car is going to have 6 laps of the Motorsports Land track in order to set the best time it possibly can. Our current leader is the Suzuki Cultus Pikes Peak version. That car set the time of 26.540. 200SX unlikely to beat that. In terms of where the 200SX is going to go, we've had the 95 200SX that did not run race mod. That set a time of a 30.889. Generally speaking, S14s are okay-ish around this track as long as they can keep the wheel spin to a minimum, because these cars do like to drift. The Silvias especially are one of those cars where sort of, as time has gone on in this series, as I'm sort of getting more used to driving the cars of this game, I am getting far more used to driving S14s, and as a result the lap times, he says as he drifts, the lap times on S14s are sort of starting to tumble a little bit. I think the last one we had, the Qs, set like a 30.6, so that's the quickest S14 we've had, even though it's not the quickest, so hence why we left the Aero SE to last, because that one's going to be the quickest version of the S14. I think we've also got a couple of 180SXs and stuff to go as well, although technically they're S13s, I think. It's hard. Silvias are difficult, alright? They're difficult to sort of keep up with where which one is. 30.730. That is a pretty generic time for this course. That actually, yeah, so this is just beating the Q's Aero, so this is very slightly quicker than the Q's Aero. Q's Aero had race mod, but even still, that sort of makes sense. Especially for this to be a little bit quicker than the 95, because the 95 thing was slightly down on power compared to this. I think that made like 350. Yeah, I mean, in terms of sort of where these slot in to the Silvia S14s versus the Ks, I think the 200SX, the standard 200SX, is sort of a middle ground between all of them. So this one obviously has the 2 litre as opposed to, I think it was a 1.8 litre in most S14s. So yeah, the Ks make more power, the Qs make slightly less power. This sort of slots into the middle of those, is essentially the way this works, I think. This has actually just gone quicker than the Nismo 270R, which is interesting. Yeah, it's okay to drive. It's, like I say, getting a little bit more used to it. It's all about throttle control, because otherwise you will just end up drifting. Similar to that Corolla 11 we had out not long ago. That car was very sort of rear end happy. This, as you can see, also definitely can be. It's just about trying to keep the rear end for this under control. But no, it drives all right. It wouldn't really be my choice for a sports coupe in this game. I'd definitely opt for like an S15 or something along that line. But the 200SX ain't bad. It's just ugly. Very ugly, actually, in this case. But, yeah. Overall, not terrible. Little bit of time in there, yeah, probably. I'd say that's probably true for most S14s, though, to be fair, when they go around this course. There's always a little bit of time in them, just because of sort of how wayward they can get. It's very hard to sort of nail a complete lap where the rear end stays fully under control. But yeah, still not bad. A 30.708 will place this into 243rd place. Goes in between the Celica SS2 Super Strut package and the Peugeot 406 sedan. It is fractionally quicker than the Nismo 270R, Toyota Supra Twin Turbo, TRD 3000 GT, Silvia Q's Aero 96. As mentioned, about 0.2 up on the standard 200SX, the 95. Not as quick as the S15, which is worth pointing out. Even the Spec S S14, it is slower than that. I'm trying to think where the... Yeah, Silvia's Spec R as well, 30.5, so slower than the Aero, slower than that. Yeah, the S15 is a better car, basically. TLDR on that. But, no, that's definitely not a bad time, considering what this is, and, yeah. No more ugly S14s for me, so that's good. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Thank you all very much for watching. Join me next time when I will be driving something completely different. Until then, farewell.